The irony is brutal. The very discipline that got them to $50,000 is the thing they throw away trying to reach $100,000 faster. There's another reason nobody talks about why $50,000 is a dangerous stage. It's often the first time a portfolio feels like real money, and real money attracts real emotions. Fear of losing it becomes just as powerful as excitement about growing it. Managing that emotional relationship with your money matters just as much as your actual investment choices from this point forward. Let's jump to $100,000, because something almost magical happens here that finance educators call the snowball effect. Once you cross the $100,000 mark, growth from investment returns alone can start to rival, and sometimes exceed, the amount you're contributing from your own income each year, assuming reasonably consistent market performance over time. This is the moment your money genuinely starts working as hard as you do. Imagine spending years feeling like every dollar of growth came from your own sweat and saving, and then suddenly the market itself starts contributing more to your wealth than your paycheck does in a given year. That's not guaranteed every single year, because markets fluctuate, but the mathematical tendency starts to shift firmly in your favor from this point onward. At $100,000, many Australians also start thinking seriously about property alongside shares, since this level often represents a meaningful deposit. This is where strategy becomes genuinely personal. Some investors stay purely in shares because of the simplicity and flexibility. Others diversify into property for leverage and stability. Neither path is automatically correct. What matters is understanding the trade-offs. Property offers leverage but demands liquidity and ongoing costs. Shares offer flexibility and lower entry costs, but can feel more volatile day to day. Even though historically diversified share portfolios have delivered strong long-term growth, here's where most people go wrong at this stage. They assume hitting $100,000 means they've figured everything out, so they stop learning. They stop reading. They stop adjusting their strategy as their life circumstances change. But the investors who go on to build truly significant wealth treat every milestone as the start of a new learning phase, not the end of one. Now picture $250,000. This is where lifestyle options genuinely start opening up, even if you're still years from anything resembling early retirement. At this level, a well-diversified portfolio can realistically produce meaningful passive income, enough that some people start using it to cover specific expenses, like a portion of their mortgage or a family holiday, without touching the underlying investment. This is also the stage where sequencing risk starts to matter more, meaning the order in which good and bad years happen can affect your outcomes, especially if you're getting closer to relying on this money. Professional financial thinking at this stage shifts from pure accumulation toward thinking about resilience, making sure a market downturn doesn't derail years of progress. But here's an advanced insight most people never hear until it's almost too late. Tax efficiency becomes far more important as your portfolio grows. Structures like holding investments inside superannuation, using appropriate account types, and understanding capital gains implications can meaningfully affect your actual take-home wealth. Two investors with identical returns can end up with very different outcomes purely based on how tax-aware their strategy was. This is the stage where many Australians start speaking with financial advisors, not because they've done something wrong, but because the complexity of their situation has genuinely outgrown simple do-it-yourself straight. Now let's talk about $500,000, because this is where things start to feel undeniably real. At this stage, using conservative long-term assumptions, a portfolio can start generating income that covers a meaningful chunk of essential living expenses for many households. This doesn't mean quitting your job. It means options start to exist that didn't before. Some people at this stage negotiate for part-time work. Others use the sense of security to take a career risk they'd been too scared to take, like starting a business, because they know their investments provide a safety net underneath them. Here's the obstacle almost nobody warns you about at $500,000. Lifestyle creep becomes a serious threat. As your net worth grows, it becomes tempting to spend more, upgrade more, and justify it because you feel financially secure. The investors who protect their wealth at this stage are the ones who consciously keep their spending disciplined even as their portfolio grows, rather than letting their lifestyle expand at the same rate as their investments. And now, the stage almost everyone dreams about. $1 million. Here's a truth that surprises most people. Reaching $1 million in Australia today does not automatically mean lavish luxury living. Depending on how it's allocated and depending on ongoing living costs, $1 million portfolio provides genuine financial security and flexibility. But the people who reach this stage sustainably are rarely the ones who suddenly start living extravagantly. They're the ones who understand that $1 million is a tool for freedom and choice, not a number that magically ends financial thinking altogether. What's genuinely different at this stage is the mental shift from earning to preserving and strategically deploying wealth. Conversations change from how do I grow this to how do I protect this while still growing it responsibly. Estate planning starts to matter.